Hey, Dr. J here. It's really good to see you guys, and I'm grateful for your time. So, I specialize in the nervous system. My original degree is Doctor of Chiropractic, and then I'm really grateful I advanced on my studies and started focusing on how can I create greater synergy, greater synchrony, and greater balance in the nervous system. Through my journeys, I now specialize in athletic performance. And over the last 15 years, I've had the pleasure of working with men's golf and women's tennis and women's basketball and men's baseball at Arizona State University, which ultimately led to me working with both the LPGA and the PGA. And then dream come true happened when I started actually working in Major League Baseball as well. After working with Arizona State University athletics, I got to meet a profound and amazing athlete from the Boston Red Sox whose name is Dustin Pedroia. I was introduced to Dustin Pedroia from a precious, dear friend of mine named Coach Pat Murphy, who was the longtime coach at Arizona State University and who's now the bench coach with the Milwaukee Brewers. Coach Murphy encouraged Dustin to trust me so that I could possibly help him recover. At the time, he had an injury where he had a plate in his foot and he wasn't able to more greatly distribute his weight, especially during batting practice. I'm not a podiatrist. However, what I shared was if I could create more balance, help the nervous system dissipate stress, and release the fight or flight patterns that possibly were in Dustin's body from some of the challenging impacts, perhaps I can help him recover better and increase his performance. So I had the opportunity to work with Dustin. Dustin referred me to Jacoby Ellsbury, who was a center fielder for the Boston Red Sox at the time, a profound athlete, an amazing advocate for me, and a dear friend as well. They were very generous and then flew me to spring training for the Boston Red Sox. The only challenge was I was not approved medical staff, so they actually snuck me into the famous manager, Terry Francona, whose nickname is Tito. They actually snuck me into a shower. I had all my clothing on, but they actually were able to sneak players into Tito Francona's shower for me to serve them and show how I can balance their body using the system I created using a touch process. So here I am in Terry Francona's shower thinking to myself, how is this happening? But it was a dream come true because I got to be exposed to amazing people like Big Papi David Ortiz and Wild Jonathan Papelbon and JD Drew and Jed Lowry and Josh Beckett and Jared Saltalamacchia and Daniel Bard. All these absolute amazing players. And, I'm so grateful. And I became a performance consultant for the Boston Red Sox about 11 years ago now. And I was hired by Theo Epstein, the renowned general manager. And this was not an easy time for me to get introduced to the team. I was being introduced in February when budgets were already created in October. And through the support of Ben Charrington and Brian O'Halloran, who were assistant general managers of the Red Sox at the time as well, I was hired by the Boston Red Sox. And this started my journey to really increase human performance of peak athletes. Shortly thereafter, I started traveling to Philadelphia to start doing work with the Philadelphia Phillies as well. And I had an amazing opportunity to serve such talents as Cole Hamels and Cliff Lee and Chooch Ruiz, Chase Utley. I was around the best of the best. And of course, while Jonathan Papelbon was there too. And he was a generous advocate of mine. Shortly after this, I started working with other athletes around other leagues, and I had a profound experience. I'm always on time, so I had an 11 o'clock appointment to fly into town and work with an athlete at 11 a.m. I arrived to his gorgeous condo at 10:54 a.m. Let's just call this client John. John was hectic and overwhelmed and stressed, and he was running around and he's looking for his keys as I arrived at about 10:54 a.m. And I said, John, what's happening right now? What am I missing? And it turns out my client was so under the influence of Ambien during the evening that he actually slept through his wife having appendicitis. The paramedics took my client's wife to the hospital. My client slept through it, and on record, the only thing he said to the paramedics was, hey guys, can you please turn the light off? In other words, he had no idea that his wife was in danger. His mother-in-law came into town, took the kids to the hotel. My client wakes up the next day. As I arrive, 100 missed calls and texts. Where are you? I am not happy with you as a husband. I'm in the hospital. My client slept through it. This planted the seed for my passion to start studying what could I do differently for these peak players and ultimately corporate executives and anybody in society that was using harsh chemicals like Ambien and other chemicals that possibly were enabling them to fall asleep. However, it was creating addictive patterns which ultimately can also lead to kidney, liver damage, as well as short-term memory loss, and ultimately even a precursor to dementia.